Hi everybody, it's Robin with Uniquely Robins. We're working on our trunk here. I did do the inset with a darker gray, and I think it really makes it pop. I really like it. I do have a little bit of touch-up I need to do. My hand got really shaky there at the end. If I can get this paint open. I have the hardest time opening stuff anymore. Oops. Guess that's what you get for getting old, right? Get old and feeble, I guess. Ah, there we go. Okay. So I have a small brush here, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of touch up here where I got over with my gray, with my darker gray. Let's see. Smaller paintbrush. I think this one might work a little better. Yeah. Really got it over there. I did end up putting, I believe, 3 coats on this just to be sure that it was good and covered. And we will probably distress this a little bit. Just this little bit of touch-up I'm doing, I'm hoping will dry pretty quick so that we can move on. I'm gonna have a thrift haul for you tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. I got some really great stuff that we're going to be redoing here on the channel. Just gonna since I stuck my arm right in that, didn't I? Since we're going to be distressing this, I'm not caring that it's like not perfectly painted. I would tape it all off if I was really wanting it to be, you know, like a perfect job. I did stick my arm right in the paint. Oh well. Okay, now on the front, hold on a minute, just kind of stuck to my board right there. I did paint this part black. I started to paint these black, but I don't think I really like it. I think we're just going to distress that part, so I am going to go over that with our gray, because I don't really like it black. We'll just distress it a little bit there. And that's the good thing about painting something like this, is if you don't like it, just redo it. A couple of years, if you change your mind on your decor and your style, you know, just redo it. All right, I do think I'm going to leave the latch black. I may come back in later and do it the darker gray. I haven't decided yet which direction I want to go with that. But we're going to let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to show you a few of the other things that we're going to use on it. And I am going to, I think, use some of this napkin here. We're not going to use the whole napkin, just parts of it. So I'm going to, there, I said, find my scissors first. I'm going to cut this in half. Move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. And let that dry. I'm just going to cut this in half. I am going to cut up around these because I don't know how I want to put it on there yet, and I may want to use this whole piece in the bird. I haven't decided on that yet, but we'll go ahead and take it apart because I know we are going to use some of it. And you can just peel it right apart. Because you have two other layers here, I think. Some of them, yeah, see it has two other layers. And don't throw these away because you can tape this to a piece of paper and run it through your printer and print something on it if you want. If there's something, you know, specific that you want to print on that, and you can decoupage with that. So I always keep these. I know if we keep everything, then we run out of room, but certain things we want to hang on to. I really wish I had another one of these napkins, but I looked, I only have just the one, so. Come on. Sometimes if you, there I got it, put a piece of tape on there and pull it, it'll help you to separate these. Go ahead and separate these two pieces too, just so that they're ready when I find something I want to print out on them. And set those aside. But these are the ones that we're going to use. Try to let that box dry a little bit before we decide, because I want to lay it on there and see what it's going to look like. So we'll set that aside. Now I did have some, and I know I have some more of these molds somewhere. They want to blow. I got the fan on in here because it's really hot. It's really warm in here. I had to turn the fan on. I hope it's not too noisy for you. It's a ceiling fan and it kind of makes a clicking noise for some reason. This is old probably. But I have these silicone molds here. They're like cake molds, really. I've never used them for cake. I always use them for other stuff for my crafting. But just trying to get some of the excess off of this one. I can show you. There. I have the roses, I have butterflies, and I have birds. Now I know I have some other ones that are pink that are like, I know one of them's a filigree thing. For some reason right at the moment I can't remember where I stored them, but we will find them. But they come in really handy for other things too, not just cakes. Now the roses do have some really small spots in them where the stems go. So for some other stuff it doesn't always work the greatest, but you can get some really pretty things. The birds are really deep and the flowers themselves are really deep and the butterflies aren't bad. So there's two ways you can do it. You can get this spackling, you can get this at the Dollar Tree, lightweight spackling. And I just took some kind of a little trowel, and this is the one I used. It came with a clay set that I had. But I just kind of pushed it in there and then leveled it off and let it dry overnight. I always let them dry overnight because, and with the spackling, let's see if I can find one that was done with this spackling. Okay, this one was. I do have to go in and trim these just a little bit with either my scissors or my X-Acto knife, where I didn't get it completely smooth, but that's not that big of a deal. That's easy to do. And you really don't even have to cut it off. You can just, you know, go in there and with your little spackle thing and it'll pull right out. Just like that. Can you see what I'm doing? I hope. Let me get another one. No, I think I got most of them already. Yeah. Okay, so that's with the spackling. Now with the spackling, they do stay kind of pliable, which is nice because then if you want to, you know, put it like on a corner or something like that, you can bend it down around the corner or what have you. So they do stay pliable until you like paint them, and then they will stiffen up more. And then I also have some air dried clay, which I actually got at the Dollar Tree. Was it the Dollar Tree or no, the dollar store? I think it was the Dollar General. I got that at. But it's air dry clay, and I did the same thing by pushing them into the molds and letting them dry overnight. Now they do come out a lot harder. I don't know if you can hear that, but they come out a lot harder. So here's a couple of the birds. This one I actually think was, you can see the difference. They look basically the same. This one was done with clay. This is done with the air dry. I mean, they just are almost like porcelain. So you got to be a little careful with them or you'll break them like I just did. But I have some roses here. I just basically concentrated on the top part of the rose because that's what I wanted. I thought would look nice maybe on some of the sides of this box. And I was just playing around with it to see how it worked too. Now this butterfly, when I took it out, I broke him in half on accident. But I wanted to show you, it was kind of a happy accident, because then I can show you, you can just glue this when you put it on your piece, just glue it right together, and it's fine. I mean, you'll never even know that it was broken in half like that. So that's a cool. And here's a little rose bud that I did. This is with the spackling. And I was able to get down in those little stem creases, but a lot of times when you go to take them out, a lot of times those stems will break on you. Just to let you know, don't be surprised if that happens. So we have some little birds here, and you know, I love the little birds, little robin birds. So we may put some of those on our box. The birds also have these little tiny flowers in there. Those don't always come out all in one piece either. But like this is just an individual flower. And I know it's probably really hard to see, but it's just one individual little flower that wasn't a clump, but it came out as an individual. So, you know, you will have little things like that happening if they're not very deep. Now, if you have soap molds or other cake molds or what other kind of molds are there? Silicone molds that are deeper. The deeper they are, of course, the more they're going to stick out on your product, on your project that you're doing. But you know, you may want to be doing a mirror or something. You may want a big filigree on there. So that will work out great for you. But the deeper they are, the easier they are to get out of the mold. And they're really not hard to get out of the mold. You just kind of, you know, bend the mold a little bit and they'll come out. But I do suggest that you leave them set overnight before you try to mess with them, or you'll have all kinds of a mess. But, you know, that's the difference. This is an air dried clay mold, and this is the silicone mold, just so you can see the difference. But this one is a little sturdier, but it is crackable. And then this one is a little more pliable. And it will still break in half if you bend it too much, but it is a little more pliable. So we got birds and flowers and butterflies. And I just wanted to have some things to choose from to put on our box here. And I also had some of these in my stash. Now I got these from Amazon, and these are little silver feet. And we are going to put those on the bottom of this box. That's why I wanted to let it dry a little bit. It's another reason I had the fan on, so it would dry quicker. See, it's dry already. It doesn't take real long. So, and you can see I didn't get completely over this, but we'll retouch that up too. So we're going to close this up so I can turn it upside down. There we go. And we're going to put these little feet on the bottom, just so it's a little decorative touch to the bottom. And usually I would use E6000 on something like this. I usually use hot glue for the instant hold, and then E6000 for the permanent hold. I didn't have any E6000 right now, but I have this Gorilla Clear Grip is what it's called. And I have used this before and it works pretty good. So we'll use that along with our glue gun, which is warming up over here, so that'll be our instant stick. And I'm just trying to decide if I want these feet to face outward or if I want them to be kind of diagonally in the corner. And I kind of think that I want them to be diagonally in the corner so I can bring them in a little bit. I think it'll be a little more stable that way. So, okay, that one doesn't want to stay on there. He keeps jumping right off. But yeah, I think I want to put them that way. So that's what we're going to do. So let's put them on. Another thing for me to open. I hope everybody's doing well. Okay. So you can also nail these on, which it does have nail holes. I may end up putting a couple little nails in there if it doesn't hold very well, because this is wood, but you should be able to use these on anything. So then I'm just going to put some little hot glue on here too, just to have an instant hold. And press it right down. I'm just going to hold it for a couple. It shouldn't take very long with the hot glue on there, and it gives you a little bit of time to wiggle it around a little bit too to get it where you want it. And trying to make sure that it gets right in this corner. So we're going to do this one next. Run a little bit of hot glue around it. I'm kind of putting my finger in there because I want it to be right in that crease. And there's a little indentation on here is what I'm trying to get right in that crease so that I make sure that they're all in the same spot. Just put my fingernail in that crease, and that way I'll know they're all in the same spot. So it should not, I'm not saying it won't be, because you know, as soon as you say it won't be something, it will be, but it should not be wobbly. I just thought this feet would give it a little bit of elevation and just look really nice on there. And normally I'd probably wait till I was completely done with the whole thing before I put these on, but I wanted to show you these on. And they have different, Amazon has different ones of these. But I just thought these were really pretty. Let me get another one out of the bag. And they come in a bag like this. Let's see if it tells you. 20, you get 20 pieces. This one says antique brass. I think they come in different colors too. Case vintage 1 by 1.06 inches is the size on it. I'll hold that up there so you guys can see that tag in case you are interested in them. You'll know exactly, you know, what they're and what to put in, so you could, you know, pause your thing and write it down or take a picture of it or what have you. And these ones are really heavy duty. I've gotten some before, like the book corners that are really, really thin. But these are really heavy. I mean, they're not bending or anything, so they're really heavy duty. And they have a real pretty filigree on them. I just think they're so cute. I'm not sure right offhand how much those were, but I'm thinking they probably weren't very much, because if they were too much, I wouldn't have bought them. I'm kind of a penny pincher when it comes to that stuff, because you got to get so much different stuff that. Let's drink coffee here. And guys, I was outside with my husband. I can't remember. Oh, he was changing oil in the cars or something. And I was pulling some weeds right outside the back door there while I was talking to him. And I set my coffee cup up on this post that we have out there. And when I went to grab it to bring it back in, my big tall one that I love so much, I hit it the wrong way and knocked it off and busted it. My very favorite coffee cup, and the real tall one I always use. So I had to go. I have been looking everywhere for another one. I can't find one that tall. I did find this one. Can't tell it too much because it has coffee in it. It says mornings are rough. It has little paw prints on it, but it's nowhere near as big as the one I had. But I gotta use that for now. But yeah, things happen all the time. Okay, while we have this on its side, I'm going to go ahead and use this piece of sandpaper. This is 150 grit. I'm not sure if this is must be what my husband had, but it's 150 grit. You can, at the Dollar Tree, they have little packages of different grits of sandpaper in the same thing. I think there's like 25 or 50 in there for $1. So that is a really good deal on that, and I need to get me some. But I want to rough this up a little bit on the edges and before I go and decoupage anything on it, because if I decoupage it first, then it'll kind of seal it and it's harder to get. I mean, you can still take things off of it, but it's harder. Whoops. I laid it on my little birdies. They were hanging on for dear life. See, then I can just go lightly over these because I want this to look kind of old. Where them little metal pieces are. And I like that better than the black. And all these little raised edges, I just want a little bit to come off. I know we sometimes seem crazy when we take something that is older and redo it, and then we have to make it look old again. But, you know. Just bring out all those little raised up areas where the little nails were at. And I don't want it to be really rough, but just a little. Not into distressing majorly like some people like to really distress, which, you know, makes something look grungy, which certain things do look really great that way. But this, I just want, and I have, you know, I do that too, but this, I just want where it would naturally wear on those metal pieces, just to pop a little bit. Probably should have waited to put those on because I wanting to lift. Probably will go ahead and get me some little nails and put in there just to be on the safe side. To have grandkids, and you know how rough grandkids can be on things. have my 2 grandsons staying this week. Andrew's 8 and Dallas is 4. And he just loves his big brother. He wants to be with him every minute, doing everything he can. We have Andrew for 2 weeks. And Dallas will be here just this week. So they could have some brother time together. That's important. We took them Monday. My husband came home from work because they really didn't have much for him to do. And he said, well, we thought it was instead of just standing around doing nothing all day, he would just take a vacation day and we could take the boys and do something with them. So he just thought it was a good idea. And so we decided that we took them to the Air Force Museum in Kettering or Dayton. And they had a blast. Of course, Grammy and Papa were extremely wore out by the end of it, but they had a good time. So sometimes that's all that counts, right? Okay, now I'm going to open this lid because I want to get down along here. A little bit, not terribly much. This box is actually a very well made box. It has this extra piece in here for the lid closes at, and it's just really well made. And I'm just going to just real lightly over this. I'm not going to do too much. Sorry about the noise. I know it's a very noisy process. Just want to smooth these sides that don't have that space in the middle. I just want to smooth that out, because I'm thinking that we would probably do a little bit of decoupaging on that too. I have a couple of pictures I really like, and I think I may print them out. I'm thinking about printing them out on vellum. I gotta think of the name of that stuff. Goodness, either vellum or transfer paper, like tracing paper. And then decoupaging them on the sides just to give it a little more character. And I definitely think we are going to nail these down, because for some this glue is, and it may just be because I'm messing with it when they're trying to dry, but we'll see tomorrow how sturdy they are. If they don't seem to be very sturdy, then I will, well, I'll probably tack them down anyway, but I want to see if it gets sturdy so I know if I want to use that glue on something like this again or not. But I did paint the bottom. I always like to finish my bottoms. That sounded weird, but I do always like to finish the bottom of my products. Okay, yep. It's not going to stand on there. I don't even know why I tried that with, it's not dry yet. But I like to finish the bottom and the back of things, because I don't like it when things look unfinished. To me, that just seems and feels unfinished. Yeah, when you put little feet on there, especially if you're not going to nail it down right away, let it dry before you go trying to mess with it. It's just trying for video's sake to get a little more done in the video today, but I'm gonna pay for it, I guess. I should have dug some nails out first before I did it. So I could have went ahead and tacked them in and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay. So, let's see. I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna pull the front. This is the front of it. And I'm thinking that I want to put at least one of these little birds on here. But I think if I put it there, it's going to get in the way of the latch. I could put two like that. I don't know. My OCD's kicking in. I want one bird facing that way and one bird facing this way, and the only bird I have that faces the other way is too big. So we could just put it right here. That would be cute. Or we could put one of the roses there in the middle. That would be pretty. Let's see this one. That would be pretty right there. That one's more open. Where did the... I'm looking for the... There it is. Most vacuum thingy. Oh, something like that would be pretty. And I don't want it to, you could paint it, you know, like a flower color and put it on there, but I don't want it to stick out, you know, like a sore thumb. I just want to be the same color as this, just a little bit of a pop on there, just to pop out a little bit. I kind of like that. Or do I want a butterfly? Just got too many things to play with, don't I? Let's look at our, I think since this has a bird and a butterfly on it, we'll use either the bird or the butterfly instead of the flowers. It has flowers on it too, but not this kind, not roses. Maybe we'll just put a couple of butterflies on there. Maybe a trio of them. Yeah, I like that. What you think? I even have a little teeny tiny one. Well, let's do that. I like that. He's got a little piece on him though I want to get off of there. Clean him up just a bit. And you can take sandpaper to these too and clean them up a bit if you prefer to do it that way. Yeah, I kind of like that trio on there. Let's do that. I'm going to hot glue these on there. I'm not worried about them staying because I'm going to paint over top of it. So the paint will also hold it. Just play around with it and see where you like it. And we'll put this big guy down there too. Trying to get him kind of even with my closure up there. Yeah, I like that. And then we're going to get the same color of paint as that background. Maybe we are. goodness. There's a little spot there that didn't get painted too, so. I don't like that brush. Let's use this bigger brush. I think that will be much better. Maybe. Forgot the fluffy Mountie was a little stiff this morning. I know the feeling. And after this dries, then I will go back over it and just kind of dry brush the light gray and give it kind of a two-tone, because the light gray will stay down in the, right, you'll see when I do it, but when I paint over it with the light gray and then kind of wipe it and dab it off of there, it'll kind of stay in those little cracks and crevices, because these butterflies do have a lot of little crevices down in there. And that will look kind of cool, I think. Don't want too much paint on there that it's going to clump up under them. Just enough to cover them good. There we go. So I'm kind of brushing away from those edges so I don't have a big glob in there. Okay, now we got the big guy. Kind of hard to paint on something like this on camera because you can't really see what's going on the other side. But don't be afraid to paint something. It's only paint. You can always strip it off. You can change the color if you don't like it. You know, it's just paint. Just trying to make sure I got down in these top pieces because I couldn't see it from the back side. I wish I had a Lazy Susan. I've been looking at the thrift stores and stuff because if I had a Lazy Susan it would be so much easier. And I wouldn't get out of the frame where you could see what I'm doing as much. I'll keep looking. Eventually I'll find some. Alright, just noticed that one of these little doohickeys here did not get hit. It doesn't have to be much, just one enough, just so they look a little rough. Okay, we'll let that dry. Whoops, got a little heavy-handed there. All right. Yeah, I like that. And I want to see too. Sure, get my brushes all together because I'm gonna have to go wash those when I get done here. Okay. All right. I wanted to see what this would look like if we put one of these whole ones on the side. Ah, not enough paint. Actually do like that. I think we may do that. Okay, and if there's just a section you want to take off of your napkin instead of like using the whole thing, just get you a paintbrush and please tell me I didn't knock it over. I did, barely. I just have a little cup of just plain water. That's all I have in here is just plain water. And you just decide where you want to do it from. And I'm thinking, let me turn this in. I'm gonna hold it up here and see where I want my scene. Do I want both the birds? And that pink in the middle, I think that would be really pretty. Let's do that. Because we have two, so we have one, we'll have one for either side. You just decide where you want, and you just lightly go around. So you know where you kind of want to, I guess, cut it off at. Stop your scene. And we're just going to go around where we want. I think I want most of that. And go around here. I'm sure all of you have seen this by now. And go up that way. And then you just pull. Because you're just getting it wet and you just pull. And right where you put that water is right where it's going to come apart. They have these special made brushes that you can buy to do this with. It has water like in the pen. But I just kind of think that's a waste of money. When you have paintbrush, you could use your finger. You don't have to have all that expensive tools. Granted, it may make it a little easier, who knows, but not worth it to me. I'd rather save my money and spend it on something else I want that I can't figure out a way to do myself. Now I want this to come loose here, because it'll be too tall otherwise. Both sides probably won't be exactly the same. See how we're doing here. So I want to come down through here. And that's a nice thing about doing this too, is you can, I mean, you can cut it out if you want. I kind of like the rough edged look of it, to where it's not, you know, so perfect. All right, now we want to come down through there. Okay. And we will decoupage that on the side there. Go ahead and grab my decoupage here. One of these days I'll think to open everything before I start, because it takes me so long to get anything open. There we go. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Now I'm going to use this bigger brush so I can do more space at a time. And brush it on here. Tomorrow we'll do our other one, or one day this week we'll do the other side. And I'll do it standing up so you can see it a little bit better. Well, I guess I could still do that. I'll do that. And I'll just stand up. It'll probably be easier on me too. I'll be able to see what I'm doing a little better. But I just want a good amount of Mod Podge is what I have here on here. I don't want it clumpy, but I want a good amount so I know that it's going to stick, and I kind of put it everywhere. And then I'm going to lay my napkin and try to get the wrinkles out as much as I can. And I'm going to take my scissors. I don't want it to be up on this metal piece here, so I'm going to just snip around that. Try not to put a hole in it. There we go. Now you can trim this when you're done. With sandpaper, it's real easy. I'll show you how to do that. When it dries, well, wait till it dries, because if you try to do it before it dries, you'll have a mess. And I'm gonna go right over top of it. You don't want to brush your napkin any more than you really have to. Open this lid so that it doesn't stick closed. So I got some Mod Podge on there. Okay, just going to get off of that metal piece. You don't want to go over it and over it and over it and over it too much. And you just want to get kind of a good even coat on there. Because the more you mess with it, while it's wet, it is napkin, so the more you mess with it while it's wet, the more chance you have of ripping your image. So go across. Now, if you don't like the look of like the wrinkles in there, you can, before you put the top coat on, take a card or something and rub it across there, or be real gentle when you're laying it down and rub it a little at a time to lay it down, and you won't get those wrinkles. I like that in there. I think it makes it look old and crinkly. I like that, so I left some wrinkles in there. I'm just taking a little bit of the excess. I got a little overzealous there with some of it. But see, if you play with it too much, that's what'll happen. It'll pull loose. So now I'm gonna leave it alone. And I know that's the hardest thing to do when you feel like you're kind of in the middle, is leaving it alone. Because you really want to, where it's hanging off, you really want to get that off of there. But I'm telling you, trust me, you want to just leave it alone and let it dry. Then when it's dry, you can sand that off and it'll come right off. But if you try to mess with it too much while it's wet, it will rip and tear and you'll just ruin the whole piece and you'll have to just sand it all down and start over. And I know, trust me, I know about impatience. I'm very impatient on a lot of things. So I want it to be done. You get a vision in your head sometimes and you just want to see it through, and having to wait for things to dry. I mean, you can use a heat gun and dry it. Even when you paint things, you can use a heat gun and dry it, but you always take the chance of holding it too close or for too long in one spot and making your paint bubble up. So your best bet, if you want a really, nice finished product, is just let it dry on its own. Even if it takes a couple of days, just let it dry on its own. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to just push this aside and let it dry. I wanted to show you one other thing while we're on here today before I go. We are going to do, like I said, a thrift haul tomorrow on some things that I purchased, but I wanted to show you this. I got this from a lady off of the marketplace online. She wanted $5 for it and she took 3. And I just love the shape of this vase. Isn't this beautiful? I actually love the color of it too. I'm debating on it whether I want to paint it or not, because I want to be able to put flowers in it. Now it does have a hole on the bottom. I don't know how much she actually originally paid. $30 for this vase. And I got it for 3. So, I mean, it's not old. It's not an antique or anything like that. It was made in Vietnam. And it says not for food use. But I don't want to put food in. I want to put plants in it. Or fresh cut flowers. So I like to cut my flowers on my flower garden before they go away for the season and bring them in the house, and it lightens stuff up. I don't have a lot at one time out there because I don't have a lot of blooming stuff out there. Well, bobo hydrangeas out front are actually blooming and they look glorious though. But I wanted to show you, if you want to put water in this, I mean, you could actually fill this with dirt and put a plant in it. Get your little bowl to put underneath it for overflow, because if you pot a plant in it, you'll need the drain hole. But I don't plan on putting a plant in it. I want to actually put fresh cut flowers in it. So I'm going to take where the hole is, and we're going to fill that with air-dried clay. Maybe. But you can use the air-dried clay. My husband says just use duct tape, but I don't want to use duct tape because that's sad looking. But I want to wash this all up first and get all this. Now that's a good thing you can use your heat gun for. If you use your heat gun and just put it on here, and this the tags and stuff will tear off, because I hate it. At least this one's on the bottom. I hate it when they put the sticker tags on, you know, the surface of things, and it was always such a pain to get off. But if you take your heat gun and just hold it on there for a few minutes, it will peel that up off of there. But I just really love the shape of this vase, and I love that the handle looks kind of like handmade and free-formed. It's not straight up and down. It has this twist in it, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I just really love this, and I think it's going to look beautiful with some of those white bobo hydrangeas sticking out the top of it. And when I get it done and put those in there, I'll take a picture for you and post it up on Instagram and my Facebook so that y'all can see. And I'll put it on the beginning of one of my videos or something so you can see it. But yeah, I really love that. I think it is just so unique. I've never seen one with a twisted handle like this, and I just think it is such a beautiful vase. And I love red. Red's my color. Especially this burgundy like red. My house is done in gray and black and white and red. More of the burgundy red, but I do have some bright pops of red. My husband bought me some knife sets that's got really shiny red handles on it, because he knows red's my favorite color. So, but yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna fix this up, and tomorrow we will do a thrift haul. We'll probably work a little bit on this, and then we'll do a thrift haul there before we go, and let you see all of the things that we got that we're going to be doing here coming up. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun. I've been looking for those like crockery stamps. I know IOD has some. They're like $30. My husband goes, "You're going to pay $30 for stamps." And I said, well, I'm trying to find them cheaper somewhere, but so far I haven't been able to find them anywhere else cheaper, but I'm still looking, because I really like the crockery stamps. Now I know you can find some crockery labels, and you can print them out, and you can decoupage them on your pieces, but you know, you can tell where you put it on there. If you use the stamp, that looks more like you actually it came that way, or it was hand painted on there or whatever. It just looks a little bit better, cleaner lines to me, I guess, is what I want to say. But you can, you know, if worst comes to worst, I'll print them out and decoupage them on a couple of these crocs that I got that I want to put those on. Because I understand that it's $30, but you can use it, you know, over and over and over and over and over and over for years to come. It's just having that $30 extra that you want to spend on, you know, something like that right now. Until we know more of what's going on, I don't really want to put out that kind of money for one thing right now. But, you know, we'll see. I may change my mind, you never know. I've been known to do that several times. Several times over. I did see a spot on here that missed a little. There we got it. A little white spot. It's driving me crazy. All right, well, I will let you go. I'm going to go wash up my paintbrushes so they last me longer, and let this dry overnight. I always want to let it dry at least 24 hours before I mess with it. That way I know that it's good and on there, good and dry, and I'm not going to really tear up my napkin. And I especially want to do that on this one because that's the only napkin I have like that, and I just love that napkin. I think it is so beautiful. The birds, I love the red flowers with the butterfly. It's such a gorgeous piece. So I will be on the lookout to see if I can find me some more. I don't know where, somebody sent me that one with some other napkins, and I'm not sure where she got them at to be able to get any more. So, and these ones too, I think are gorgeous. I do have 2 of these though. The lavender and the purple, that is just beautiful. So, have a great day, guys. Stay safe out there. Show the ladies below some love. Show each other some love. Bye-bye. God bless.